New edition of 40K. Been announced, right? The rumors are there. We're starting to look, right? The designers are saying this is where we're looking to go. Space Marines versus Tyranids. Yes, that is an awesome framework. I'm really excited for that. If you play Space Marines or you play Tyranids, this is your moment. This is your time. If you play other factions, then on the narrative, you're thinking as a commander, how can I take advantage of this chaos? How can I utilize this? There's truly something for everyone in this new edition of 10th. So I'm really happy about that. They've talked about we're going to streamline the rules. We're going to get rid of the bloat. We're going to make it fast playing. I'm interested in that. That doesn't necessarily mean simplified. That doesn't. You can do a lot with a solid rule set, and you can still keep the usual stuff and stats that we know about for 40K. I'm interested where they say every unit is going to have a battlefield role. Okay, right? Well, we need to find out more information. But this now all leads into, what do you do at this moment? How do you get ready for a new edition of 40K? So the first thing, having now, I guess at this point, made it through 9 complete editions of 40K, the first thing is you do not buy anything else. This is just my perspective. And look, that's hard to say because, first of all, it's a miniature-based game, and there's always awesome stuff out there. Second, being a completionist for my various armies and factions, I want to have all the cool toys. And third, having poor impulse control when it comes to buying miniatures. I'm not necessarily the player, the Wargamer, to take this advice from, but this is what I've done with every edition, and this is what I intend to do. I'm pausing because you don't know what units in your army based on the rules are going to have a place on the tabletop. Yes, GW says every unit will have a role in the game. That doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work. So at this point, to go out and be purchasing new units, we want to step back. I want to see the rules deployment. I want to see how it works out and then make an informed decision. So what that means is that pile of plastic that is unbuilt, the units that you don't have completed in your army, this is the time to focus on it. Not necessarily that they may become good or not good, but to complete your army to a point where everything in your collection is ready to go and ready to deploy. Because there is an importance to that, right? We collect an army, and within that army, there's the units that we like to play. You have a tabletop personality. You like to do something. You like to collect units for various reasons. So that's your core army. Then you've got other units where maybe you tried them out or you liked how they looked or you picked them up in a trade or maybe some store credit from winning a tournament, or there's some units used for a campaign or a narrative game. You want to be able to pull all those together because when this new edition drops, to learn the rules, there's 2 elements when an edition drops, the 40K. The first is to learn the actual rules of the game. And this is good because it's going to be a complete reset for all players. All players, veteran players, new players, that reset, it's just about learning the rules. In previous editions of 40K, when it drops, I get together with my friends and we just like put stuff on the table and like just play some games, figure out the rules, figure out the flow of the game. And I don't expect that much of a radical departure. Although at this point, look, we don't know. We don't know. We just know it's going to be streamlined. It's going to be cleaned up. It's going to be quick play. Second is you learn the rules. Second to that is to understand how the units operate within those rules. And I'm not talking necessarily about specific units, but the different slots that the various units through all of the different 40K armies fit in, their roles. We want to unlock really quick, despite what Games Workshop is saying, every unit's going to have a role on the table. Based on the rules, some are going to be better than others. Is that the same as 9th edition? Or now in 10th, are there new opportunities? So within that framework, getting your collection up and running, completely done, that is a good place to be. So I focus on getting all my stuff painted. If there's older units that maybe I pulled apart or I borrowed some bases to base somewhere else, I want to get them back on bases, get everything ready for that. I don't want to buy any new units. Unless you've already purchased that Titan and it's on the way, or it's something really, really custom or special that you're going to play anyway, that's a different story. In terms of starting a new army, right? A new edition, because the first thing I think about in a new edition is based on the narrative. Like, what do I want to play? Do I want to continue playing my current armies? Do I want to favor one over the other? Like where do I want to jump in? Where do I want to make my mark in this narrative? And that's an exciting opportunity. That is a really exciting opportunity. Like, I'm sitting here thinking, my Black Templars have not seen the table in a long time. Honestly, most of ninth. This is a chance to, in the narrative, to fight against the Tyranids. I mean, do I want to do that? My Tyranid army, I play it here and there. This is a chance, like, do I want to jump in with Tyranids and just represent Tyranids and flood the table with lots of space bugs? Do I want to play another faction, right? Grey Knights. I can get excited about Grey Knights thinking, Chaos is going to take advantage of this. Chaos has been very prominent in the past couple of editions, but now they're going to kind of get more quiet. They're going to kind of focus on that. So do we need to send in the Grey Knights? Or I'm looking and saying Necrons, right? Necrons are still angry, right? Just all this craziness of these upstart races and these factions and squatters in the ruins of their empire and their dynasties. Like, there is something for everyone. So I say that in that this is a great time if there's an army that you haven't played in a while. Maybe you want to jump in with that. Maybe you want to jump in with a new army. If you're thinking about jumping in with a new army, you want to pause. You definitely want to pause there, because if it's Space Marines or Tyranids, there's going to be some release kits. There's going to be some limited stuff. You really want to see the framework first. If it's another type of army, then you kind of want to see how things are going to shake out in terms of the rules and in terms of, again, how these units slot in. So I would say maybe start preparing, start looking, because we're talking this summer. We're going to know pretty fast with how that works. But I would be put on hold. So there's this excitement. There's this tension. I wouldn't buy anything new yet. I wouldn't be adding to my collection yet. I would be focusing on what I need to paint, what I need to complete. And if you're like, Fritz, I'm not like you. I've got impulse control. I know what I like, and I'm focused. Then work on terrain. Work on a 10th edition release terrain set. If you are all caught up on your stuff, all your hobby stuff, you've got a couple of months, make an awesome set of terrain, your 10th edition terrain. So when it drops and you've got your army and your friends got their armies ready to play, you put down that terrain. And I'm not talking about like 3 or 4 terrain pieces. I'm talking about like a whole table of awesome terrain. There's a lot of opportunity. But I would pause. I would reassess. I would start planning. If I'm looking at a new army, I'm waiting as we get more rumors. I'm waiting to see. And then once we know the official direction of where it's going, that is the point where I would commit.